This is the Choppin' It Up show brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. And now, here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
All right, good evening, and I thank God for my incomparable soul. Welcome to the Choppin' It Up show. I am your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you tonight. Today is November 19th, 2015, 6 o'clock on the West Coast and 9 o'clock on the East Coast. We appreciate all those listening in live, whether through iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, our website, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are on the interwebs this evening. If you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. That's right. Our scholarship fund will be awarded to the students of our National Signing Day show for marching bands, and that'll always take place in April of every year. We'll always make sure that it's like the Tuesday before the NFL draft. So it's like the end of April, but you guys will be able to donate to that cause, donate to us broadcasting at these hours, donating just if you love historically black colleges, if you love music, if you love education, or if you are just inspired to change the world like we are on this network, whoever you are, wherever you are from, of course, we will definitely put those things into good karma, all right? So we welcome you to the Choppin' It Up show. This is our season finale of the Choppin' It Up show tonight. We will be back in March of 2016 to kick off the new season of the Choppin' It Up show. And we'll conclude the Choppin' It Up season at the end of August, right before our Director Series podcast, okay? That will be really, really exciting because we have our programming now set for the network, and we hope that you enjoy listening to our network. We have the Director Series podcast in August. We have the 90 Degree Show, which is our flagship series, talking about those HBCU marching bands. Then we have the Choppin' It Up show in the off season in the spring, and then of course our National Signing Day show for marching bands, and then we start it all over again there in August. So please go ahead and follow us, do whatever you need to do to get involved as well. Okay, so we again appreciate you listening tonight. Also too, we'll start those interviews again for the 2016 season starting in March. If I have sent you a link, or if you already have a link, go ahead and take the time to click on that link and add in your time so that we can actually get your interview going. The link is pretty easy. Go ahead and click on it and go ahead and fill out the date and time that's best for you, and then, we'll both get the email. We'll both catch up with it, and on that day, I'll contact you, and we'll do the show, okay? So tonight, again, this is our season finale. We'll be back again. Thanks again for your support in March, at the end of March, okay? So tonight, we chop it up with Ollie Liddell, okay? So I thought that this was a really good interview. And on this interview, I kept forgetting that we were recording. So, we were just talking, and I was just going back and forth, and I wasn't looking at the time. And then I forgot, my wife was locked out the house, or she didn't take her keys with her or something like that. So then she was, banging on the window at one point. So, of course, I had to edit that out, And some other parts, too, with the sound, this definitely challenged me a little bit. So I didn't expect to have the episode this late in the year. We wanted to have it right after we did our interview with Darius Austin there at National Show Band Association. But with the year, and of course with my 4 jobs, and then with actually cleaning this up as well, giving you guys all the excuses in the book. But shout out to you, Ollie. Thanks a lot. I had sent him a message earlier, I think a couple weeks ago, or just saying, or even last month, I was like, yo, man, I got some time to do this. And he was like, cool, do your thing. So I appreciate that. Also, it was really, really cool that I got the interview. So I talked to, shout out to Derek Hardaway, Fat Nasty. He was, talked about he was with Ollie. He talked to Ollie. I then talked to Michael Cowens. And then he, talked about, he's with Ollie. He hangs with Ollie. A couple of pictures you guys might see of them performing on the slideshow that we have going. But then he's like, man, you got to interview Ollie. Well, I was like, okay, yeah, I was probably going to interview Ollie anyway, just because of who he was. But just actually breaking down what's really exciting about our connection is that his father and my father marched in the band together. And back then it was the best band in the land. And now, all those years later, approximately 30, because my dad was there 62 to 66. And I don't know the specific years Dr. Liddell was there, but they were together. But then now in 97 through 99, I didn't march the 2000 season. I actually got to, march with Ollie. So it was the double legacy, if you will, there at Jackson State. And then even my dad remember Liddell. He said Liddell's. He said, oh, yeah, I remember Liddell was always laughing about something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just and even there being in the band, like you remember Dr. Liddell always, cracking jokes or putting us in a perpetual state of readiness. You know what I'm saying? So I remember all of that. And it's funny, too, because if you guys know Ollie, and I'm sure a lot of you do, it makes you laugh because, I'm sure Ollie was silly, too, man. So, it was just really good to catch up with him. A lot of interesting things from the interview that, I was like, wow, I definitely have to put this out there. And just remember him. I just remember even when I was writing the show for night, just little memories popping up in my head with him, Slab, a.k.a. Larry Jackson, shout out to your brother, and Maurice. I don't know, they would just like to pick on us when we were freshmen. I remember those three a lot for a lot of reasons. I can't put it all together in my mind. But it's always good, man, like to catch up with old folks from back in the day, especially folks, as all you band folks know, you catching up with folks you were in the band with, you got plenty of stories, especially you Crab brothers and sisters, you got plenty of stories. So, again, it was just great to catch up with him. And then, shout out to my dad, RIP out to my dad. I know that, he wanted to, I'm sure he would wanted to listen to this interview. He still wanted me to interview Liddell, too, or anybody that he marched with from his era, So I'm sure he'll be listening. But shout out to you. Shout out to you, Ollie, man. Thanks for catching up with you. All the people that I will be talking to, we got plenty more time to do it. And I'm sure I'll be talking to pretty much almost everybody I probably march with. Very proud of everyone. Everyone's, out on Facebook doing well. Everybody's graduated and doing well and off in their careers and with families. So it's good to definitely for these young people to hear some of these stories because, hey, it's just, it wasn't that type of thing back in the day. Everybody was wilding, everybody was wilding. I don't care who you was, man. But it's just really, really good, again, to catch up with these folks. So, tonight, this will be a podcast, and we'll accept your calls at 718-664-6025. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com. Tweet us at marchingpodcast or follow our blog 4.themarchingpodcast.com. If you're listening live and have a Blog Talk Radio account, you can log into the chat room and leave your comments there. Last and definitely not least, check out the website, themarchingpodcast.com. Let's take the time to hear from our sponsors. Tonight's show is brought to you by Liquid Effects Photography, Double Time Entertainment, The Edge One Productions, Block Band Music and Publishing, and bandhead.org and hbcubands.com. Let's take the time to hear from them now.
What's up, what's up, what's up? This your girl, Casey Nesbitt, graduate of the Jackson State University and North Carolina Agricultural Technical State University, and you're chopping it up here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is the social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
What up, bandheads? Are you looking for a talk show about HBCU marching bands? Well, look no further than the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the Marching Podcast. Every Sunday during the football season at 8 p.m. Eastern, we recap the most intriguing battles of the weekend and give you, the listener, an opportunity to voice your opinion on the battle by calling into the show and talking with our panelists. Are you ready for the only interactive show in the world for HBCU marching bands? Then check us out Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. The 90 Degree Show, the interactive HBCU band podcast show.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
What's up, everybody? This is Michael Cowan, the director of bands at Fairleigh High School here in Memphis, Tennessee, proud graduate of the Tennessee State University, Marston Aristocrat of Bands, and you are chopping it up here on the Marching Podcast Network. Peace.
All right, everyone, welcome back. I wanted to tell you guys about one more sponsor. I'm putting it together now, and that is our beloved Double Time Entertainment. Their passion is music and promoting HBCU marching bands, as well as high school through high-quality movie videos and photos. They've worked with BET, Yamaha, Ludwig, Honda Motor Company, and been featured on CNN, Lifetime Network for the series Bama State Style. They also help with orchestrating the Battle of the Bands with marketing promotions, and also became the official media team for the Queen City Battle of the Bands in Charlotte, North Carolina. So join Double Time Entertainment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and now new on Periscope. Music lovers are noteworthy. All right, so we're ready to chop it up with Ollie tonight. Again, if you want to call in and say something, you're welcome to do so. The number you see there on your screen, 718-664-6025, and we'll take those calls at the conclusion of the interview. Again, this was a really good talk, so it became, with all my editing and stuff, it's a two-part interview tonight. Our first part of the interview is a little bit of the teaser, of course, finding out a little bit more about Ollie. And then part 2, you guys definitely make sure you check out part 2 next week, Tuesday, November 24th. It should be a nice little, relaxed, chill time getaway before you guys hit the road and before everybody goes somewhere to start eating in a couple days, okay? So definitely want to check out the interview tonight, as is, of course, and then checking out the second part of our interview on Tuesday, which is much more of the longer interview. Tonight, the interview, or the first part is about 30 minutes, and then I think the second part is closer to the hour. So definitely some really, really, really good information and really good talk and some things I didn't know about Ollie, and I'm sure a lot of you guys didn't know about Ollie Liddell as well. All right, so without further ado, let's chop it up with Ollie. You're now here with the Marching Podcast and another outstanding guest. Always love to talk to the folks that I actually marched with back in the day. Mr. Ollie Liddell, what's going on today, sir?
I can't call it, man. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited to talk to you. Outstanding to, be in touch with, some of the folks that, were like role models, really good leaders. I know we had Derek on the show not too long ago, but folks that's outstanding on their horn and good leaders. You know what I'm saying? So let's not give away. Let's go ahead and break it all down. Ollie, where are you from, man?
Originally born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. Around third grade, right after third grade, me and my family, we moved to Kentucky. I spent Frankfort, Kentucky, Murray, Kentucky, and then we moved again to North Carolina, briefly in Minnesota, and then finally my dad got a job at Jackson State in 1992. And so we moved back to Jackson. I was in a junior in high school, so that's where. So I had a kind of varied upbringing as far as location.
Yeah, man, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So now was that because your pops was he a band director at other schools? Is that why you guys moved around like that?
Partially, he accepted. Well, he was a high school band director in Jackson at Provine until was 84. Then whatever he accepted his job at Kentucky State. That was in and he spent I guess 3 years there at Kentucky State. That's in Frankfort. And he totally got out of band for a few years. He was worked in the president's office, kind of vice president of something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was in the president's office in an administrative capacity. Then he worked similar post in North Carolina and a similar post in Minnesota. And then he came back to North Carolina. So originally his whole plan was he wasn't really planning to stay in band. But what happened was he got to North Carolina A&T, which is in Greensboro. And it was like, they had him, the band director there was also went to our church. He asked him to run a clarinet sectional, and he just got the fever again to want to do band, and then the job opening came up at Jackson State, so that's why we moved back to Jackson.
Wow. And, of course, we're talking about the great Louis Liddell, my head band director when I was at Jackson State, and marched with my father in the best band in the land at Jackson State back in the day. So, yes, very familiar with Doc, as they called him. A lot of folks call Doc folks everywhere, just to let the word know that, of course, usually it was either a professor or prof or the folks that had that doctorate, call them Doc. A lot of folks at different schools call him Doc, but of course, Jackson State, when they say Doc, they're talking about Louis Liddell, Ollie's pop. So, of course, yeah, I didn't know that about you, man. And I kind of remember your pops at Kentucky State. But, yeah, so you were alive. Did you remember much of Kentucky?
Yeah, Kentucky was interesting. I'll say that the most. Kentucky State, I'll say this. It was very tumultuous for a time. I mean, when we moved in Kentucky, African Americans were not there. So the only neighborhoods for African Americans were very, very, very low income.
Wow.
And so we lived in predominantly white neighborhoods, and in many cases we were the only blacks in the entire area. Matter of fact, in middle school and elementary school, we were the only, me and my brothers and sisters were the only black kids in the whole school. So
wow.
we were routinely, you go to the grocery store, and it was like, hey, mommy, look, it's a black person. Or sometimes they say, hey, mommy, look, it's an N-word. So there was a lot of racism. That was the first time I was ever called that to my face. But I was, just lucky my parents, they taught me a lot about black history and about just how things are. I guess it's just a very, very upbringing. I lucky enough and unlucky enough, I guess you could say, we've in every situation. We've lived in rural and urban and suburban situations where some schools we were the only black kids.
Mm-hmm.
Others, it was like in North Carolina, we moved there. It's a very diverse school with Asian, Hispanic, Native American, and East Indian population. They are Arab and black and white. And then we moved back to Jackson, and my last 2 years of high school, there was nothing but black kids in the entire school. So it's a very, very diverse upbringing as far as ethnicity is concerned.
Yeah, man, that's interesting. And again, that's really foretelling, I guess. Now your mom has her PhD too, right?
That's right.
Okay, right. So again, I guess to paint the picture for the folks that may not know, that's, I guess, the more education it brings you, no matter the color, there's still the demographic differences where, it's not that many blacks there. And like Ollie said, you moving around to these suburban areas, and these states. That's a trip, though. You were in Kentucky and that happened, and this was what, the 80s or maybe late 70s or something like that?
This was in the 80s.
Right.
In Murray, Kentucky, I mean, I just be truthful. Murray, Kentucky, we had crosses burned in our yard. We had, it was never a thing where someone was kidnapped or lynching or anything like that, but it was intimidation, crosses burned, and it's probably teenagers. Crosses burned yards. Folks, you knew, it is what it is. We knew what was going on. We knew the folks that were that way, and there were some good people too. But that's what life was like in Kentucky. It was to a lesser extent, even in North Carolina, the first school we were in. I went to 3 different high schools and 4 different middle schools and 4 different elementary schools. So it's a lot of different schools, different situations. And you kind of met every kind of person, good, bad, and then all of the above.
Wow. That's crazy, man. I didn't really know that, but I guess you the child of a band director, and just getting that experience, like you said, your folks being educated. That's a really interesting story, man. I'm glad you told me, man. Can't go wrong with the folks of that crab class. Now I gotta ask you, were you 94 or 95?
94.
You 94. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 94 was just a special class. We done already talked to Derek, and I done talked to a couple other folks. But man, you guys just it was just something special about that class, really. So I'm really glad you got to put in that input, because I'm sure that input had something to do with the chemistry. So all right. So you gave us where you from, and then of course I usually ask folks next. Now, where are your folks from that area? Now, is Doc and your mom, are they from Mississippi too?
My dad is he's originally from Miss Jackson, born and raised. He's never been anywhere else. He used to joke, "Come on, I'm from Verdon Addition." the hood, my dad very, very low income Reagan Jackson. But it's that's a whole different era. but that's where he's from, Jackson. And my mom is from Columbia, Louisiana, which is a little bit south of Monroe. She's a Gremlinite, and my dad, obviously a Jacksonian. They briefly met his junior year at Jackson State, junior or senior, I can't remember, and actually at a football game. They had played Gremlin, and he went to a store. He caught her eye, but nothing ever happened until he got his first teaching job. They both of their first teaching jobs was in a town called Angie, Louisiana, and they were on the faculty at the very first, their first jobs, and that's how they met. And then they were married. He proposed at the Southern Georgia State game in 1967, and they were married it was like 3 months from the time they met to the time they married. It was
wow.
A generation of it.
Yeah, man. Wow. So I'm sorry. Were you saying something else? I think you went out.
Oh no, that's it. That's just they've been together ever since. Since the '60s.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, it definitely was a different time. Folks nowadays, you got to live with folks 2 or 3 years first. You know what I'm saying? And then you get engaged, and you engaged for 2 or 3 years. Then you know what I'm saying? So yeah, folks is off the chain now. But yeah, that's cool, man. I didn't know your mom was from Louisiana. She went to Grambling. Was she in the band? Did she march in the band?
Not.
Okay.
She was not in the band. She sings a little bit, I guess. That's as much for musical ability there is as that, but.
Okay. Well, that's what's up, man. So you said you went to 4 different elementary schools, 4 different middle schools. Because usually, and 3 different high schools. Because usually, so you have to give me those names. But I guess since your pops was a band director, you were exposed to music then probably, I don't know, since you've been walking. What was, I guess, the first experience you remember, I guess?
Wow. Just being around him during band practices, we would be there. Obviously, babysitters are expensive. Obviously, band camp, I'm sure we were there a lot. I remember being picked up sometimes. Our daycare, we went to Jackson State University preschool, which was on campus. So it was literally, I can tell you, I just remember getting picked up at the preschool, and it was sometimes they would drop us off at my mom's office. One of her TAs or something would come get us and walk us over to her office, because her office was right around the corner back then. And then one of my dad's students would come pick us up, and we loved to go to program. We loved to go to band practice, because either we would be playing, and we go to band practice. We watch the band, then we go watch Coach Blackman, which was a football coach at Provine back in those days. And we go watch it. Me and my brother, we go watch the band. We knew the band students' names. My dad tells me, I don't remember. I remember this, but I don't remember why. It was they did a band competition when he was in Provine, and I'll never forget it. He said something like, "Y'all get in line," and so we thought that to mean some kind of way we're to get in line with the band as they're going on the field. I don't know. I couldn't have been more than 4. I had to be really young, and so
right.
He said that he was in the podium, the band going to take the field. He was up top, and he had the radio down to somebody on the walkie-talkie to get my kids off the field. So that was a fun memory. I get to tell my brother, "Come on, Jerry, let's go. We got to, I remember that. I don't know why I thought that. He said he remembers that. That's a distinctive memory. But just, you see your dad in band. I wanted to be in band from a very, very early age. I've always wanted to be in band. I was it was just something interesting to me, and something that music was all around him. He played music. My dad loved James Brown, still does. So we listen to blues. My mom is a big time gospel fan. But we also listen to classical music around the house. My dad's favorite is Mozart and James Brown. That's a kind of eclectic musical taste, but Mozart and James Brown is it. This is some B.B. King. So a very musical upbringing, if that's what you did. We didn't sing in the choir. You know, like most musical families, they sang. We didn't really sing much. I don't understand. I never realized why, but we never really were like, "Hey, you guys are going to be in the choir." Never made us get in the choir. Singing a lot of band directors. You know, I just at school and just in general, I see a lot of kids, you know, who band directors, and their parents had them in the choir, or they had them music lessons early. It wasn't our case. We were just immersed in music, but not in a educational sense. No, not very early.
Okay. But wow, that's pretty cool though. I mean, I always love the stories, and I can imagine Dr. Liddell, you know, yelling down there, get his kids off the field. So it's you. Who are your siblings? I know Jerry. Now Jerry's younger than you, right?
Yes, I'm the second oldest. I have an older brother, Lewis.
Okay.
He is Lewis. Lewis is what, 41? 40? No, Lewis is 42. He's about to be 43. No, he's 41. He's about to be 42 on the 19th. Then it's me. Then Jerry. You and Jerry, I think, about the same age. Y'all both graduated 96, I think.
Yeah, 90. That was that year, 96. You know what I'm saying? That was that year.
Then I got a sister, Frances, and another sister, Christy, and then my baby brother is Calvin.
Okay. That's what's up, man. Wow, that's a lot of history for folks, man. I remember Jerry. I know Jerry's my age. Now Jerry, when he was at Jackson State, now did he play on the football team or something?
Yes, he played wide receiver, but he would joke saying he played split end of the bench. So he never saw the field. But he did play on the football team, and I'm the only one that stuck it out in band. I have a sister, Christy, was in the band for all throughout high school, and she was actually in the orchestra. She played French horn for 5 minutes, and then she gave it up. My brother Lewis, he played until he was in the 9th grade. He played tenor sax and clarinet. Jerry played trumpet and then tuba, but he quit after the 9th grade. I think had to be 9th grade. And then Calvin, my youngest brother Calvin, he played saxophone. He quit after the 9th grade. I'm the only one that stuck it all the way through.
Yeah, I remember on a band trip, I think Jerry was with us, and we were messing around with Jerry, and we were wrestling in the hallway, and I remember, I was like, damn, this dude is strong, man. I'll never forget that, man. I think I was like holding on to his leg or something, and I think he was like four. I guess that's the best memory I remember of Jerry. It just because I remember a couple of trips, you know, he was on the bus with us. So you know, we always got the best with him. I remember he used to break down, talk about the greatest athletes was from the South. I mean, you just had a whole bunch of talks on the bus. So yeah, I remember Jerry, man. But hey, I didn't know he was my age though. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man. Okay, so watch, you got a lot of this early experience, man, of band. That's crazy. So I guess basically, and I definitely want the young folks to hear this, you basically knew from a young age you were going to college. I guess, could that be safe to say?
It was, that was very safe to say. It was never a question in my family whether you were going to college. It was just more or less, hey, where are you going to college?
Right.
It was never, it was assumed. It wasn't nothing we talked about, like, are you? It was like, so let's see, after high school, what college you think, you know, that was the thing. It was even I'm talking about a very early age. We knew when you left high school, it was college, and whatever after that. It was, you know, my parents never forced us to go to a particular. All 6 of us went to Jackson State. All 6 of us went to Jackson State. But it was never a, hey, you're going to Jackson State, hey, you're going to Grambling or whatever. It was just, it worked out that way. You know, my sisters and brothers, they all have. I have my master's from Ole Miss. I'm working on my PhD at Ole Miss right now. Jerry, he has his master's from Jackson State. He's working on another degree there now. Christy, she has her bachelor's from Jackson State. She actually has her master's from Trinity University in Virginia. Frances, she has a bachelor's in art from Jackson State, and her master's is from I want to say San Francisco School of Art, some school out there in California.
Mm-hmm.
And Lewis, he should have been. He's not finished with his master's. He really got to take a test, but he's doing his master's at Jackson State as well. So there was not but it was never a thing. Hey, y'all got to go to Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have to. Actually, my dad, in a way, didn't want me to go to Jackson State, and it was always my decision. But he wanted, I don't know, maybe he wanted me to go somewhere else. I don't know.
Right.
But I think it's the best decision that I made. I think, just the people I was around, the environment, the everything. I think it was just a good decision.
Yeah, man. I think that I definitely, what I'm saying, I definitely think, he probably. I think like with my dad, he went away. Well, he went to Jackson State because it was down the street, but then he went to St. Louis University in WashU. So I think that was part of when we were there. It was going away for me too. Like I think he wanted me to go away. So that's probably what it was. But during that year, those years you were there, you had a lot of good leaders around you, man. A lot of good professors. Yeah. So it really did work out pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I guess just speaking on my upbringing as far as educationally, I think I'm a band director now. I don't know if I said that or not to your listeners. I know you know I'm a band director, but I've been a band director now since 2006.
Okay.
But I think I benefit a lot from the different that being around so many different schools, so many different situations.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, I think I was around a lot of different kinds of band programs. Like, for example, the first band I went, it was humongous. The first program, man, it was all white. I remember the sixth grade band, there was 20 trombones in sixth grade band.
Wow.
At that school. I remember they had 2 band directors. I remember we were in a trombone class, and then we moved to the other, that was Elkhorn Middle School. I don't know what's doing now, but I don't remember the band directors' names. But it was I benefited from that big situation. Then there was another small school in Murray, Kentucky. The band director's name was Beth Striblin. She was a really good band director. We knew all major scales when we left the 7th grade. When I left that school, I knew every major scale and 6 minor scales, natural minor, harmonic, and melodic. When I left the 7th grade, that's unheard of.
Wow.
In middle school. But she was able to do it, and she was a beast, man. And but in that situation, I left there and went to North Carolina at a school. It was in military. This guy, he was in 8th grade. They started in 7th grade, so I was well ahead of the students, a lot of the students there. And it was just different, and a different strategy, different method books, all of that. The band 9th grade, it was like a military style, and I do mean military. It was like that Big Ten military style. We played marches in 9th grade. I credit him. I don't even remember his name. It's in a yearbook somewhere, but I credit him for teaching me how to sight read, because you learn those marches, man. I was playing 8, 9, 10 marches back then in 9th grade. Then the next school, 10th grade, it was horrible. She was horrible, man. It was we didn't have 30 kids in the band, and it was. I'm not trying to say like I was God or nothing, but it was like I was the only kid in the band other than like me and one other that could play. Everybody else was just absolutely horrible. These people didn't care. Oh man, it was horrible.
Right.
That was, I'm not gonna name the school, but it was horrible. They're not anymore. They're actually a pretty good school. That was pretty good. Then moved back to Jackson and Callaway, big band program. You marched with a lot of folks, a lot of section leaders at Jackson State's band went to Callaway.
Mm-hmm.
Big band. I never thought at Callaway we lived up to our potential. Okay, like I was saying, I think Callaway High School, at least while I was there, never lived up to our full potential. The players in that band were outstanding. Just Kevin Gentry and Michael Andrews on trombone, Kenny Evans. These are all folks that were leaders or were really good players. just in trombone section. Trumpet, you had Chris Evans, Jeff Wilburn. These folks were really good. Tar and Michelle, Diet, these were flute players. I mean, Tar would beat every flute player in the state of Mississippi. Jermaine Hughes, tuba players. These are just really, really, really good players. But overall, band, we didn't receive the ratings I think that we could have, because it's just discipline. The band program itself was not disciplined as it should have been. But it was a good band. My senior year, we had like 18 trombones, we had 6 to 8 baritones, 10 tubas, 30 trumpets, just a big band, and good. But just like I said, it just never lived up to potential. But I think all of those different experiences, all the different programs, they led me to be a better band director, because you can see some of the problems in the program, some of the things that we weren't doing that could have made us better, or things that in other programs that we're doing and need to be done. So I saw the good and bad of the programs. So that's what I think that's what helping me to me. And that, and obviously my dad's advice. I'm able to use a springboard. I'm able to, hey, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? Why do you think this? So that helps me be the band director that I am today.
That's really cool. That's really interesting. I mean, the different levels there, of the band that you went through. In St. Louis, it wasn't a lot of musical influence, but it was what it was. But like you said, man, you going around to the other places. And then the experience is sounding so drastically different. You know what I'm saying? You usually just think just because you in the South, the band is going to be, I guess to a certain degree, But it doesn't sound like that was the case. And some of those, but it's good that it actually, helped you and do what you're doing now. So, okay, so you're a band director now. So let's go back. You said, you decided to go. How did you end up at Jackson State? Like, what made you end up going there? Were you thinking about going somewhere else?
Yeah, I had scholarships to all over the place. I had every Alcorn. I wasn't okay. Now I never even gave a thought to get a scholarship to go to Alcorn, but I did have a scholarship to go to Alcorn.
Oh, okay.
Mississippi Valley had a scholarship there. I never gave a thought to. I was not going to go to Alcorn. I'm not saying I was not going to go to any school in the state of Mississippi except Jackson State.
Right.
That was. I'm not a big state of Mississippi fan. Through a lot of different problems. Mississippi has so many problems. The only thing I like about Mississippi is its home and its Jackson State there. But I never gave a thought. I had a scholarship to Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Tennessee State, Florida A&M, North Carolina A&T, Howard, Southern, University of Southern California, Millsaps. I was really close to going to Millsaps on a football scholarship.
Really?
That was the only other school. Because Millsaps was the only school that offered me a football scholarship. I played football all through high school at Liddell. Everywhere when I played football, it was my first full real watch band was Jackson State. I mean, I never obviously played football, so sure, weren't on the field show. But when I was a JV, that's the 9th and 10th grade, I didn't play with the varsity, so I was able to go to games and play at the stands. But when I got to Jackson, I didn't play at all with the stands with Callaway. I was on the football team.
Wow.
I also never, So I played parades, Mardi Gras, things like that at Callaway, but in Jackson on parades. But I never, watched band. Secondly, I was in the jazz band at Callaway, but not no, definitely not.
All right, we're back live, and that was part one of our interview with Ollie. Really interesting information. That definitely tripped me out. I was the main thing when I was like talking to him when he had those experiences. I didn't know they moved around so much, but also The stuff about, the crosses in the yard, I definitely thought that was like retro. Like, oh, okay, that stopped in maybe the 60s or maybe the 70s, but I definitely see, they the only black folks, I guess, in the neighborhood, and, some teenagers probably thinking it's funny or whoever, you know what I mean? But that definitely tripped me out. And then just having that exposure, that's what we want. That's the exposure we want to spread around the network, filling the media, filling the internet with these positive role models and their parents, and definitely think those things are very, very important. So definitely please check us out for part 2 of our interview with Ollie. Again, for part 2, we talked a little bit longer, probably about an hour. And we got into some more stuff, what he's doing now post. Also, if you guys are listening, we get into the Alabama State issue. And I definitely want to make sure I update that on the trailer when we create we've already created part 2, and I'm going to tweet that out tonight. But definitely he gets into the explanation about the Alabama State or Alabama State rivalry, if you will, that went on in the 90s. And believe it or not, it wasn't just that one year. It was, I'll let him tell the story. But definitely be back Tuesday night at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern for part 2 of our interview with Ollie Liddell. I want to give the time to play our sponsors one more time. Again, if you want to call in and say something about the first part of the interview or anything else, if you will, you're welcome to do so. 718-664-6025, and we'll get you on the air. We'll talk about that before the night is over, okay? So I'm going to play the last little just a commercial break. We hear from our beloved sponsors one more time. Open it up for any calls at the end of the hour. And again, we'll play part 2 on Tuesday night. So be back in to check us out then. Thanks for listening tonight. We're chopping it up. Glad to be back on the air. And again, this will be the season finale ending on Tuesday. And we'll be back in the spring with the Chopping It Up interviews with all these interesting folks that I've had a pleasure to meet and be blessed to know in my life. So again, thanks again. We'll be back.
Hi, this is Thaddeus Dixon, crab of 1994 from that famous sonic boom of the South, class of 2000 from the Jackson State University. And guess what? You're chopping it up with the Marching Podcast Network.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge1 Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
What if there was a... Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
What up, bandheads? Are you looking for a talk show about HBCU marching bands? Well, look no further than the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the Marching Podcast. Every Sunday during the football season at 8 p.m. Eastern, we recap the most intriguing battles of the weekend and give you, the listener, an opportunity to voice your opinion on the battle by calling into the show and talking with our panelists. Are you ready for the only interactive show in the world for HBCU marching bands? Then check us out Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast, the 90 Degree Show, the interactive HBCU band podcast show.
What's up with you? This is Dr. Johnny Goodlow Jr., and you're chopping it up with the Marching Podcast Network.
All right, we're back. Again, thanks to our beloved sponsors that allow us to broadcast during these peak hours, allow us to boost our event posts in Facebook, allow us to send out different ad campaigns as well on Twitter, and also to contribute to the National Signing Day show for marching bands, giving out scholarships to those blessed individuals. Okay? Again, really good show tonight. Don't see anyone in the call queue. I do want to tell you guys something before we leave tonight about a great Double Time Entertainment. A great company, great business, a great guy. Shout out to you, Barney. Hope you're listening. Shouts out to you. But their passion is music and promoting HBCU marching bands as well as high school through HD or high-quality movie videos and photos. They've worked with BET, Yamaha, Ludwig, Honda Motor Company. I actually just bought a Honda myself. You know what I'm saying? And Honda's doing the Battle of the Bands, so I guess I feel pretty good about having a Honda, you know. Double Time's also been featured on CNN, Lifetime Network for the series Bama State Style. They've also helped with orchestrating the Battle of the Bands with marketing promotions and became the official media team for the Queen City Battle of the Bands in Charlotte, North Carolina. So you guys join Double Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and now new on Periscope as well. Music lovers are noteworthy, okay? So, again, really appreciate all the love and support. The show is doing really well. You guys make sure that you check out part 2 on Tuesday night, but also on this Sunday for all those who may be listening and maybe your first time checking us out. Make sure you check us out on Sundays for our flagship series, The 90 Degree Show. And I think we are at week 11. I think we just did week 11, so we might be up on week 12 coming up. I don't know, but it's like towards the end. We got conference championships, basically, and we got some other things. We got the Soul Bowl, the Celebration Bowl coming up, and I think Jackson State Prairie View is this weekend, I believe. So that may be our highlighted matchup. But whatever it is, check us out on the 90 Degree Show on Sundays. To talk about HBCU marching bands of the week. If you guys see something or if you know something, call in and let us know. Also hosting the show with the great Christy Walker and with Rashad Waters as well. So you guys, shout out to them. Shout out to Ollie. You guys check us out this weekend. Make sure if you listen tonight, tell your friends and tell everybody else to check us out next week, Tuesday, to hear all the nitty-gritty about what went down at Ollie's time in the Sonic Boom of the South. Shout out to all you 90s folks out there. We starting to be the old heads. I saw something on Facebook. Somebody said something about the 90s people. I'm like, well, hold up now. I'm like, what? What? The 90s? What? Dang. So shout out to the 90s folks. Shout out to all the people that marched, had those times. We getting up there, y'all, but we are in our prime. So we definitely are excited. And again, shout out to everybody else out there for listening for the first time. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show so we can give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial, we'll post your website on our blog, and we'll help send out your information through social media. So contact us so we can help build your business, all right? That's all the time we have for the show tonight. Again, thanks to Ollie, and you guys make sure you check out part 2 on Tuesday. Check out the website. Donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you on Sunday.